My dear brothers and sisters, there are moments in life when your heart is tired, your strength is gone, and your voice can no longer explain your pain. You try to defend yourself, you try to prove your innocence, you try to fix what people have broken, but nothing works. And it is in those moments that Allah steps in, not because you are weak, but because you have learned to trust Him. When you stop responding to every accusation, when you stop chasing every argument, when you stop explaining yourself to those who have already made up their minds, Allah begins to defend you in ways you never imagined. Sometimes your silence is not defeat, it is tawakkul. It is handing the matter over to the one who sees what hearts conceal and what tongues lie about. Allah does not fight battles the way humans do. He does not need noise, arguments, or revenge. He changes hearts. He exposes truth at the right time. He removes people who meant harm and replaces them with those who bring peace. What was meant to destroy you becomes the very reason you rise stronger, wiser, and closer to Him. You may feel forgotten when justice is delayed, but Allah never delays without wisdom. What seems like loss today is often protection in disguise. That door that closed, it saved you. That relationship that ended, it spared your Iman. That hardship that broke you, it rebuilt you in a way comfort never could. When Allah fights your battles, He does not just win them, He teaches you lessons through them. He purifies your intentions, strengthens your patience, and reminds you that your worth was never decided by people. It was written by Allah long before anyone spoke about you. So let go, make dua, pray with sincerity, walk away with dignity, and trust that the one who controls the heavens and the earth is more than capable of handling what you cannot. When Allah takes over, you don't need to fight. You only need to believe. There comes a time in life when you realize that not every battle is meant to be fought with words, arguments, or explanations. You reach a point where your heart is exhausted from trying to defend itself, from proving the truth to people who have already chosen to misunderstand you. And it is at that moment that silence becomes more powerful than speech. Not the silence of weakness, but the silence of trust. When you choose to step back, to hold your tongue, and to place your reliance upon Allah, something remarkable begins to happen. You may feel as though you have given up, but in reality, you have handed the matter over to the one who never loses. Silence with trust is not easy. It goes against human instinct. When someone accuses you falsely, your nafs wants to shout. When your name is dragged through the mud, your ego wants to react. When people twist your intentions, your heart wants to explain itself. But faith teaches you something deeper, that not everyone deserves a response, and not every situation needs your reaction. Sometimes, the most powerful move you can make is to say, Ya Allah, you know the truth, and then walk away with dignity. When you remain silent for the sake of Allah, you are not ignoring injustice. You are acknowledging that Allah is an adl, the most just. You are recognizing that human courts may fail, people may lie, and narratives may be manipulated, but Allah sees everything exactly as it is. He knows what was said behind closed doors, what was intended in the heart, and what was done in secret. When you trust Him enough to stop defending yourself, you are declaring that His judgment matters more than public opinion. Many people think that silence means defeat, but in reality, silence with tawakkul invites divine intervention. Allah does not need you to argue for the truth. He reveals it at the perfect time. He exposes lies without you saying a word. He causes people to realize their mistakes without you reminding them. And sometimes He removes entire groups of people from your life because they were never meant to walk with you in the first place. There is also mercy in this silence. Mercy for your heart, which no longer carries the burden of constant explanation. Mercy for your Iman, which is protected from arrogance and anger. And mercy for your future, because Allah handles matters in ways that preserve your dignity. You may not see it immediately, but one day you look back and realize that had you spoken, had you reacted, had you fought back, you would have damaged yourself far more than your enemies ever could. Trusting Allah enough to be silent also trains your soul. It teaches patience when patience feels impossible. It teaches humility when you are sure you are right. It teaches you that your value does not increase when people praise you, nor does it decrease when they criticize you. Your worth is not in their approval, it is in your relationship with Allah. And remember, Allah does not abandon those who rely on Him. When you stop fighting for yourself, Allah fights for you in ways you could never plan. He changes circumstances overnight. He opens doors you never knocked on. He softens hearts you thought would never change. Or He replaces them entirely with better people who see your value without explanation. So if you are in a situation where words are failing you, where defending yourself is draining you, where every response only creates more noise, pause, take a step back, turn to Allah in sujood, cry to Him in dua, and then choose silence, not because you have nothing to say, but because you trust Allah to say it for you in a way that brings peace, justice, and victory beyond your imagination. There are moments in life when it feels as though everything is falling apart at once. You lose something you cared deeply about, or someone you trusted walks away, or a door you prayed would open suddenly shuts in your face. In those moments, it is easy to think that Allah has turned away from you, that your dua was ignored, or that you were not worthy of what you asked for. But faith teaches us something very different. What feels like denial is often protection. What looks like a delay is often mercy working quietly behind the scenes. Allah never removes something from your life without a reason rooted in wisdom and love. He sees what you cannot see. He knows the future you are blind to. That opportunity you lost may have carried harm for your Iman. That relationship that ended may have dragged you away from your purpose. That plan that failed may have led you into a version of yourself you were never meant to become. So Allah intervened, not to hurt you, but to save you. Human beings judge events by immediate results. If it brings comfort, we call it good. If it brings pain, we call it bad. But Allah's system does not work that way. Sometimes Allah allows hardship not as punishment, but as redirection. He blocks one path so that you are forced to walk another, even when your heart resists. And later, when you look back, you realize that the road you were desperate to stay on would have broken you. Delayed justice is one of the hardest tests for the heart. You may have been wronged, you may have been treated unfairly, you may have watched people succeed through lies while you struggled despite honesty. And in those moments, Shaitan whispers that Allah is not watching. But Allah is al-Hakim, the most wise. He does not rush outcomes the way humans do. He waits until the lesson is complete, until the truth is clear, until the moment when His justice will not only correct the situation, but also heal your heart. Protection sometimes comes disguised as loss. Allah removes people who are slowly poisoning your peace. He takes away attachments that were replacing reliance on Him. He allows you to feel emptiness so that your heart learns to be filled by Allah alone. Comfort does not always bring you closer to Him, but hardship almost always does. When you begin to understand this, your relationship with trials changes. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And begin asking, what is Allah saving me from? You realize that unanswered dua may actually be answered in a better form. What you wanted may not have been what you needed, and what you needed may arrive in a form you did not expect. Allah's protection is also in timing. If He gave you everything you asked for immediately, it might have destroyed your gratitude or inflated your ego. If He delayed something, it was to prepare you, to purify you, to strengthen you so that when it arrives, you can carry it with humility. And if it never arrives in this world, then know with certainty that Allah has stored something far better for you in the hereafter. So when you feel disappointed, when things do not go your way, when your heart aches with confusion, remind yourself that Allah does not make mistakes. He is not late. He is not unaware. He is guiding you, protecting you, and shaping you through what feels painful now. Trust Him enough to believe that one day you will thank Him for what He did not give you as much as you thank Him for what He did. When Allah grants victory, it is never limited to a single moment of relief or a simple turning of events. His victory reshapes you from the inside before it ever changes what is happening around you. Many people think success means the problem disappears, the enemy is silenced, or the hardship ends. But Allah's way is deeper. When He takes control of your battles, He uses them to build your character, strengthen your Iman, and elevate your understanding of life itself. Hardships under Allah's care are not wasted pain. Every tear you hold back, every night you struggle to stay patient, every time you choose dua over anger, these moments are doing something to your soul. Allah is training you. He is teaching you reliance instead of control, humility instead of ego, and faith instead of fear. You may not notice the growth while you are inside the storm, but once the storm passes, you realize you are no longer the same person who entered it. When Allah fights your battles, He protects you from becoming bitter. Humans, when they fight for themselves, often win on the outside but lose on the inside. They become harsh, resentful, and proud. But Allah's victory preserves your heart. Even when you are wronged, He teaches you restraint. Even when you are hurt, He teaches you forgiveness. Even when justice is delayed, He teaches you patience. These qualities are not small gifts. They are signs of Allah's care for your akhirah. Sometimes Allah allows you to lose externally so that you can win internally. You may lose people, reputation, comfort, or opportunities, but in return, you gain closeness to Him. You gain clarity. You gain strength that does not depend on circumstances. And this kind of growth lasts far longer than any worldly success. What Allah builds within you through hardship can never be taken away by people. Allah's victory also corrects your intentions. In struggle, you are forced to ask yourself why you do what you do. Are you seeking approval or are you seeking Allah? Are you chasing validation or are you chasing sincerity? When Allah handles your battles, He removes false motivations and purifies your goals. You begin to act for His sake, not for applause, not for recognition, not for revenge. There is also wisdom in how Allah delays victory. Immediate relief might have made you arrogant. Quick success might have distracted you from Him. So Allah stretches the process, not to punish you, but to prepare you. By the time victory arrives, your heart is softer, your faith is stronger, and your dependence on Allah is deeper. You are ready to receive the blessing without it corrupting you. Growth through Allah's victory also brings emotional maturity. You learn when to speak and when to remain silent. You learn that not every battle deserves your energy. You learn that peace is more valuable than proving a point. And you learn that Allah's opinion of you matters far more than people's opinions ever will. One of the most beautiful forms of Allah's victory is contentment. Even before circumstances change, He places calm in your heart. You stop panicking. You stop obsessing. You stop replaying scenarios in your mind. This inner peace is a sign that Allah is with you, guiding you and carrying the weight of your worries for you. And when the situation finally resolves, whether in this world or the next, you realize that the real success was not the outcome. It was who you became along the way. Your faith became stronger. Your patience became deeper. Your trust in Allah became unshakable. That is Allah's true victory. So if you are still in the middle of the battle, do not lose hope. Growth often hurts before it heals. Allah is not only changing your situation, He is changing you. And when Allah grants victory, He does not just remove hardship, He raises you to a level you could never have reached without it.